I think when you're a twin, you hear a lot more about this supposed twin telepathy. Not because it actually happens to you though, but because everyone asks if it does. Well, I don't think it did. As many times as we were pestered by other kids wondering if we knew each other's thoughts, we really never did. Well, not more than the average person could know anyways. My name is Ash, and my twin sister is named Willow. Not wanting to be part of the trend of rhyming names or names with the same first letter, our parents decided that we should be trees. They definitely aren't the worst names we could have ended up with. I've heard rumors that our grandmother suggested to name us Beverly and Bailey. I think I'd die of embarrassment if I had to deal with my family calling me Bev all the time. It just seems like a mom name, you know? Anyways, that's besides the point here. Willow and I were always kind of competitive with each other, even though I always seemed to be on the losing end. Actually, it's not even that I was competitive with her. It was that I wasn't allowed to be good at anything, unless she could be too. She had to be better. She wanted all the attention. I played soccer, she played it better. I got excellent grades. She'd take my work and either copy it or pass it off as her own. There was no getting ahead of her. Sure, I knew I was slightly smarter than her, but being in the same classes didn't help. Her being everyone's favorite didn't help either. I wasn't exactly jealous, but I felt constantly disappointed in myself. Everyone overlooked me. We may have looked identical, but everyone could tell the difference. Being better at everything made Willow stand out next to me. When we were 16, things changed for a short time. We went to a party together, and that night I think I realized that my twin sister was truly evil. More than just sibling rivalry, she had to hate me. It hasn't been long enough for me to be entirely comfortable talking about the whole situation, but I'll do what I can. We were going to a party together, the kind you have to sneak out of your window while your parents sleep to attend. For once, my sister wanted me to outshine her. She helped me get dressed and put on my makeup. She made me look beautiful while she just dressed casually. It's like we had switched places in the mirror. I think that's what she wanted. Anyways, we snuck out just after 11. A friend's car was waiting by the road to take us a few streets over for the party. When we got there, Willow's ex kept pestering us. He stalked us around the party, and while Willow left me to go talk to other people, he somehow became convinced that I was her. At this point, I was a few too many drinks in, and I thought it would be funny to play along. I kissed him, and by the time we ended up in a room alone, I realized that I had made a mistake. I tried again to tell him that I wasn't really her, but he told me he didn't care anymore. It was enough that I looked like her. Things went downhill from there, and when I saw Willow peek her head into the room, I thought she had come in to save me. She didn't, though. She watched it all happen and snuck away before he left me there, broken. It fucked me up. I didn't know who to tell. My sister watched it all happen and never told a soul, so I did the same. I kept it quiet. I started writing my feelings in a journal, and I became incredibly depressed. It got to the point where my parents actually became concerned, and they took me to a therapist. Though I wasn't ready to discuss what happened, the therapist seemed to help somewhat. It gave me an unbiased person to talk to. With my parents so concerned for me, I was actually getting more attention than Willow for once. Sadly, it didn't last long. Within a month, things went downhill. Willow seemed to decide that if I got to be depressed, then so did she. She stole my journal, told my parents that it was hers, and they panicked. They couldn't have their favorite daughter turning into the sad little thing I had become. She stole my tragedy, openly talked about what her ex had done to her. I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone the truth. I still wasn't ready to admit what he did to me. She didn't hold back though, and things only became worse. She started lying about me. She told everyone that I saw it happen and did nothing to help. The entire world was against me, and my parents pulled me out of therapy. They decided that my sadness was actually guilt over not helping my sister, and I didn't deserve to feel better. Life became hell. There was no escape. I got a new journal. I sunk deeper into my feelings. I even started mutilating myself just so that I would feel something that wasn't sadness. No one cared at all. Though I had lived my entire life in my sister's shadow, this was worse. I was a pariah. Nothing I did couldn't somehow be turned against me. Being upset wasn't okay. None of my problems existed. I was branded the liar who was trying to steal Willow's problems. They found out I was hurting myself. It must have been because Willow was doing it. Everything I did had to be because of her. Everyone believed that I was the one trying to steal her life, her pain. I couldn't be my own person. This went on until after we turned 18. The school year was almost over. It was all almost over. I'd be able to leave, finally be free. I could make my own life. I could finally be my own person. I couldn't handle the past though. I needed to do something so that I wouldn't be followed by it. I could only think of one option. I plotted it out on how to do it for weeks. It took me a while to get the courage, but I was going to kill myself. My entire existence mattered to no one. Everyone was disgusted by what Willow had convinced them to think about me. When our parents found the body, they also found the journal. The journal with Ash written across the front. It didn't contain much, just apologies and the details of a planned suicide. They seemed devastated, but at the same time relieved. Their shameful daughter had done the world a favor. They held me while I cried. Everything would be different now. They never believed in all the issues that Ash had. They never understood that her pain had been stolen and used against her. They would never know. I never wanted my sister's life. I wanted my own life. Now I'm the only one around to live for both of us. She took my life in spite, but she didn't realize how much of me she took by stealing my death. My name is Ash, but my sister stole the last part of me when she collapsed on the bathroom floor holding my journal. I finally have my life back. Everyone knows what happened to me. Everyone knows how hard my life was, and saw the pain I suffered through. Now everyone calls me Willow.